So it was just a regular Thursday evening, right? I was chilling on the couch watching some game on TV, and out of nowhere, Marie, my wife, drops this bombshell on me. "How about we open up our marriage?" she says, casual as if she's talking about the weather or something. Man, I was floored. Marie with her perfect little princess life wanting to spice things up. Honestly, I didn't know what to make of it. You see, Marie and I, we've been together since college. Always the golden couple, you know? The kind everyone looks at and thinks, they've got it all figured out. But here she was, looking at me with those big, adventurous eyes, suggesting we bring other people into our marriage. Like it's no big deal. I gotta tell you, I wasn't on board. Not one bit. But Marie, she's persuasive. She talks about exploration, about keeping things fresh. And I'm just sitting there trying to wrap my head around it. I mean, we had a good thing going. Why mess with that, right? But here's the kicker. I kind of felt like I didn't have a choice. Marie's got this way of getting what she wants, so I just nodded, a lump in my throat, feeling like I'm stepping into some unknown territory. And let me tell you, it was the start of a wild ride. I had no idea then just how much this whole open marriage thing was gonna turn our lives upside down. Marie was all gung-ho about it, started making plans, setting up dates, and me, I was just trying to keep up, still unsure about the whole deal. But I figured, hey, maybe it's just a phase, right? She'll get it out of her system, and we'll go back to normal. Oh boy, was I wrong. So that's how it all started. Just a regular Thursday night, a game on TV, and my wife proposing to turn our whole world on its head. Little did I know this was just the beginning of a journey that would change everything I thought I knew about love, marriage, and what it means to be truly happy. Alright, so where was I? Yes, the whirlwind that became my wife's life. Marie, she just dove headfirst into this whole open marriage deal. It was like a switch flipped in her, you know? Suddenly she's out almost every night, dressed to the nines, lipstick bright and daring. I'd catch glimpses of her phone lighting up with messages, names I didn't recognize, little winks and heart emojis. Man, it was like living with a stranger. I gotta admit, it stung. There I was, the same old me, but Marie, she was changing right before my eyes. Parties, late nights, this whole secret life unfolding. And me? I was the guy left holding the fort, trying to make sense of it all. I'd sit up waiting, listening for her key in the door, wondering who she was with, what she was doing. My mind was a mess, but I kept it all inside. I remember one night she came home late, or should I say early. The sun was about to come up. She was all smiles, a little tipsy maybe. And she had this glow, like she was living her best life. And there I was in my pajamas, feeling like a total loser. I wanted to ask her all sorts of things, but the words just wouldn't come out. So I just watched her, drifting further away from me. Friends told me, "Hey man, you should get out there too. Meet someone." But that wasn't me. I wasn't interested in playing this game. I wanted my wife, the woman I married, not some late-night party animal I barely recognized. I kept hoping she'd get tired of it all, come back to me, back to us. But as the days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, that hope started to fade. You see, what hurt the most wasn't the late nights, or the secret texts. It was watching the person I loved most become someone I didn't know. I missed her, the old her. The one who'd laugh at my dumb jokes, curl up next to me on the couch, share her dreams and fears. Now she was sharing herself with others, and I was just the guy she came home to. So that's chapter 2 of my little soap opera. Marie, lost in her whirlwind of new experiences, and me, stuck at home, trying to hold on to the remnants of a marriage that was slowly slipping through my fingers. Little did I know things were about to take another turn. A turn that would change everything once again. So fast forward a year into this whole open marriage chaos. Marie's still riding her wave of late nights and new faces, and me? Well, I was mostly sticking to my routine, trying to keep my head above water. But then, one night, everything changed. I was at this little bar down the street, nothing fancy, just nursing a beer and lost in thought. That's when Leah walked in. Leah, man, she was like a breath of fresh air. She sat down beside me, ordered a drink, and we just started talking. Nothing heavy, just easy, comfortable chit-chat. She had this way of making me laugh, you know? A sense of humor that just clicked with mine. And the best part, she actually listened. It wasn't like with Marie, where I felt like I was talking to a wall these days. We started hanging out more. It wasn't anything serious at first, just two people enjoying each other's company. But as weeks passed, I found myself opening up to Leah in ways I hadn't with anyone in a long time. She had this knack for understanding, for really getting where I was coming from. It was refreshing, to say the least. Now I wasn't planning on anything happening, but life has a funny way of throwing curveballs. Leah and I, we just clicked. It wasn't just about filling a void or seeking some thrill. It was genuine, real connection, something I'd been missing for so long and didn't even realize. Marie, she noticed the change in me, saw how I'd light up when I talked about Leah, even if I was trying to play it cool. And let me tell you, she did not like it. Not one bit. The tables had turned, and suddenly she was the one feeling insecure, trying to gauge where she stood. It's weird, you know? For so long, I'd been the one in the shadows, watching Marie transform, evolve into this person I barely recognized. And now here I was, finding a piece of myself that I thought I'd lost. Leah, she gave me that. She reminded me that I was more than just Marie's husband, more than the guy left behind. I was my own person, with my own wants and needs. But as my relationship with Leah grew, so did Marie's panic. She started questioning me, wanting to know what Leah and I were up to, what we talked about, how I felt about her. It was like she couldn't handle the taste of her own medicine. She'd opened this Pandora's box, and now she was scrambling to close it as she watched me drift away. So that's the story of how Leah came into my life. She was this unexpected light in the midst of all the chaos. She helped me find parts of myself I'd forgotten, showed me that there was more to life than just clinging to the remnants of a marriage that was clearly on its last legs. But as things with Leah got deeper, the situation at home got more complicated. Marie's whirlwind was catching up to her, and our little game of open marriage was about to hit its peak. Okay, so we're at this crucial chapter now. Marie's world, her perfect little bubble of freedom and adventure, it started to show cracks, big ones. She's noticing how I'm not just her backup plan anymore. I've got Leah, and things between us are getting serious. It's not just some fling or a way to get back at Marie. Leah's become a real, vital part of my life. Now Marie, she's seeing all this, and guess what? She's freaking out. She comes to me one evening, all serious-like, and says, "Let's close our marriage. Let's go back to how things were." Just like that, as if we can rewind time and erase all that happened. But man, it wasn't that simple. My heart, it wasn't in the same place anymore. Leah had changed me, you know? She'd opened up this new part of me that I didn't even know existed. With her, I felt alive, appreciated, like I mattered. It wasn't just about filling the void Marie left. It was about finding something new, something better. Marie couldn't believe it. She thought I'd just jump at the chance to go back to our old life. But how could I? After everything that had happened, after all the nights I spent alone, wondering where she was, who she was with, I couldn't just forget all that. And with Leah, I didn't have to pretend. I could be me, the real me, not just Marie's husband who was left in the shadows. The thing is, Marie's proposal to close our marriage, it came too late. My feelings, my whole world had shifted. And it wasn't just about revenge or getting even. It was about being true to myself. With Leah, I found a connection, a bond that was deep and real. She wasn't just a distraction. She was a part of my life now, a part I didn't want to lose. This whole turnaround, it was tough on Marie. She tried everything from sweet-talking to getting angry to even trying to make me jealous. But nothing worked. The more she pushed, the more I realized how far apart we had drifted. It was like we were on two different planets now. So, here we are at the big turning point. Marie desperate to get back what she thought was hers, and me finally finding my footing, standing up for what I really wanted. It was a mess, a real emotional roller coaster. But sometimes life throws you these curveballs, and you gotta roll with them. Leah, she stood by me through all this. She wasn't pushing me or pulling me. She was just there, a steady presence in the chaos of my crumbling marriage. And that meant everything to me. It wasn't about picking sides. It was about picking me, choosing what made me happy, and that's what I did. So that's chapter 4 for you. Marie trying to close the door she opened, and me, realizing that door led me to a path I needed to walk, with Leah by my side. It was a tough realization, a hard choice, but in the end, it was the only choice that made. Alright, so we're diving into some deep waters here. Chapter 5. When the masks came off, and the secrets spilled out, Marie, she didn't take the whole me moving on with Leah thing too well. Not at all. She went into this full-on mode to win me back, pulling out all the stops, romantic gestures, tearful apologies, surprise visits, the works. But it was too little, too late. My mind was made up. I was with Leah, and that was that. But here's where it gets messy. Marie, in her desperation, started playing dirty. She tried to drive a wedge between Leah and me, spreading rumors, twisting truths. It was like she was a totally different person, one I couldn't recognize or even understand. And amidst all this chaos, some real skeletons tumbled out of her closet. I started learning things about Marie that blew my mind. Turns out, this open marriage idea wasn't just about exploring or keeping things fresh. She had motives, man, ones she'd kept hidden under a pile of lies and smiles. I found out about past flings, secret meetups, even before she suggested opening up our marriage. It was like living in some soap opera, except it was my life. The more I found out, the more my image of Marie crumbled. It wasn't just about her wanting freedom, it was about her living a double life right under my nose. And the worst part, I was the last to know. Friends, acquaintances, they all seemed to have seen the signs before I did. I felt like a fool. A blind fool who had trusted and loved with all his heart. This period, man, it was tough. It's one thing to deal with a relationship ending, but it's another to realize that relationship was built on a foundation of lies. I had to rethink everything, question every memory, every moment we shared. It was like I didn't know who Marie was anymore. But through all this, Leah was my rock. She stood by me, not just as a lover, but as a friend. She helped me navigate through the storm of emotions, the betrayals, the heartache. It wasn't easy, but having her there made all the difference. She gave me the strength to face the truth, no matter how ugly it was. So, Chapter 5, Revelations, it's about the masks coming off, the secrets coming to light, and me facing the harsh truth about the woman I thought I knew. It was a turning point, a moment of painful clarity that changed the course of my life. But it was necessary, you know? Sometimes you gotta face the darkness to find your way back to the light. And that's what I was trying to do. Find my way back to a place where I could be me, where I could be happy. So, here we are at the final stretch, Chapter 6. This is where the whole house of cards comes tumbling down for Marie. And at the same time, it's where a new chapter begins for me and Leah. A tale of two paths, you might say. Marie, man, she saw her perfect world crumble. It's like everything she tried to hold on to just slips through her fingers. The irony? She lost not just me, but a lot of what she thought made her life perfect. Friends started drifting away, rumors in our social circles turned against her. The facade of the perfect life, the perfect marriage, it all fell apart. And in that chaos, there was me, finding my footing with Leah. It was like stepping into a new world, one where honesty and hope were the foundations. Leah showed me what it meant to be in a relationship where you're valued, where your feelings and thoughts matter. It was refreshing, healing even. Marie, on the other hand, she was left to face the consequences of her choices. Alone, confused, and probably for the first time facing the reality of her actions without any filters. It was tough to see, to be honest. Despite everything, I never wished her harm. But sometimes, life has a way of teaching us lessons in the hardest ways possible. With Leah, things were different. We took it slow, making sure we weren't just rebounding into something new. We talked, like really talked, about what we wanted, our pasts, our hopes for the future. It wasn't just about moving on from Marie. It was about building something new, something solid. The days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and slowly, the pain and chaos of my marriage with Marie began to fade. It wasn't forgotten, but it was no longer the anchor holding me down. Leah and I, we started building a life together. A life that was about us, about the present and future, not the past. Marie? Well, she had to do some soul searching. It wasn't easy for her, and I get that. She reached out a few times, trying to make amends, trying to explain. I listened, we talked, but some things, once broken, can't be put back together. We moved in different directions, each finding our own way. So, that's how my story goes. From the shock of an unexpected proposal to the whirlwind of an open marriage, from the pain of betrayal to the healing arms of a new love. It's been a journey, full of ups and downs, twists and turns. But in the end, it's a journey that led me to a better place. Marie's fall and my new beginning with Leah, it's a reminder that life is unpredictable. That sometimes the end of one thing is just the start of another. And as I look back, I see all the lessons learned, the growth, the pain, and the joy. It's been one hell of a ride, but I guess that's just life, isn't it? Unpredictable, challenging, but always moving forward. So here we are at the end of the road, the final wrap-up. If there's one thing I've learned through this whole crazy saga, it's that life is full of unexpected turns. You think you've got it all figured out, and then wham, you're thrown a curveball that changes everything. The opening of our marriage, that was Marie's idea. She thought it would bring her freedom, excitement, something new and thrilling. But man, did that backfire? It's like opening Pandora's box. Once it's open, there's no going back. And that decision, it didn't just affect her, it changed both our lives forever. For me, it was a journey I never expected to take. From the confusion and hurt when Marie first dropped the bomb, to the loneliness and betrayal as she dove into her new lifestyle. But you know what? It led me to Leah. And with her, I found something I didn't even realize I was missing. Real love and peace. A relationship where I'm valued, where we talk things through, where it's about us, not just one person's needs or desires. Marie, well, she learned a hard lesson. Her pursuit of selfish desires cost her more than she bargained for. I don't say this with malice. It's just the truth. She set out looking for freedom, but ended up losing so much more. I guess it goes to show you gotta be careful what you wish for, especially when it comes at the cost of others. This whole experience, it's taught me a lot about life, love, and relationships. About communication, honesty, and respect. Things that sound so simple, but man, are they crucial. It's shown me the importance of understanding not just your own desires, but also the feelings and needs of those you love. So as I close this chapter of my life and look forward to the new one with Leah, I do it with a heart full of lessons learned and gratitude. Gratitude for the good times Marie and I shared, for the growth that came from the pain, and for the new beginning with Leah. Life's unexpected turns, they can be tough, painful even, but they can also lead you to places you never thought you'd go, to people who change your life for the better. And that's the beauty of it, isn't it? It's unpredictable, challenging, but always moving you forward. Here's to life with all its twists and turns. May we all find our path and walk it with courage, open hearts, and the willingness to embrace